Kenwood Sports, man. Week 5. We already at week 5 already, man. This season going by quick. My number one team already in a hole right now. The Cincinnati Bengals, the team I picked to be number one for this NFL season. Joe Burrow. We all know Joe Burrow been dealing with an injury since preseason, since camp or whatever. But that ain't no excuse. He out there, he on the field, he got to perform, he got to show up for his squad. That he has not been doing. When you got T. Higgins, you got Jamar Chase, and you got Boyd out there playing receiver, and you got Joe Mixon in the backfield, ain't no excuse. If it was up to me, Joe Burrow wouldn't even be playing. If I was the head of that organization, I invested all this money into Joe Burrow, just gave him this big contract. I need him more at the end of the year than I do in the beginning of the year. When you come into the season, limping into the season, guess what? You're going to limp out. You do not get healthier as the season go on. So with the way he's looking, he can't really get the ball downfield like talking about. They only got one win. They 1-3 right now through four games. They're going into week 5. They just don't look good. The number one team to me in the AFC right now, two teams that I like in the AFC right now is obvious. Buffalo. Buffalo lost that week 1 game against the Jets when Aaron Rodgers got hurt, and they've been going off ever since. Matter of fact, the last 3 games, they just scored over 35 points. They just scored 40 last week against Miami, 35 and 38, I believe, in the previous 2 games. This week, they got Jacksonville in the UK. Jacksonville stayed down there because they played Atlanta last Sunday in the UK. So I'm expecting this to be a good matchup. When a team scoring that high of points week after week after week, I think only one team has done that in the last 4 seasons, maybe twice in the last 4 seasons, that somebody that scored at least 35 points 3 games straight, excuse me. So I don't know I don't really know how many teams did it 4 games straight, but that's a stretch to do. So I'm expecting this to be a tight game. It's a 5-point spread with the 5.5 points last time I checked. 5.5 points with Jacksonville versus the Buffalo Bills. That's going to be a good game, I believe. Tre'Davious White did go down for the Buffalo Bills at the starting corner. They got another backup that they put in there who was really a healthy scratch. I can't think of his name right now, but he was a healthy scratch the week before. And that's going to be a soft spot for them. Trevor Lawrence really got to take advantage of the secondary on Tre'Davious White's side. The Von Miller's still not back yet. I'm not sure when he's coming back. But that defense is playing some good football. They went out there and they did their thing against Miami last Sunday, which they dropped 48 points on, that I said. Miami, that's my number 2 team right now in the AFC. I like, of course, I like Patrick Mahomes, but the team, the dynamic of the team, the receivers, I don't think they're the same. I've been saying that since day one. I know they're not the same. Travis Kelce, he going to do his thing. He going to ball. Pacheco is running the hell out the ball. So I still expect Kansas City to be in the playoffs. I still expect them to make some moves. They're probably going to make a move at receiver if somebody become available. But as far as the AFC, Buffalo and Miami. Now, the game this weekend, the Dallas Cowboys versus the San Francisco 49ers. The San Francisco 49ers are at home. They knocked out the Dallas Cowboys the last two years in the playoffs. We already know what happened. Brock Purdy is playing lights out. This dude has not lost the game. I'm giving him all his respect because the dude been balling out of control. He ain't just out there being serviceable. He ain't just out there doing the bare minimum. The dude is out there making throws. He got one of the top passer ratings in the league. You got Debo out there. You got Ayuk out there. You got Christian McCaffrey going off. Arguably an MVP candidate for this year. Christian McCaffrey, yes, arguably an MVP candidate for this year. The dude is balling out of control. Can't forget George Kittle. Can't forget the coach. Can't forget the coach Shanahan, who drawing up all these plays. Still got the defense balling with Fred Warner and Drake Greenlaw at linebacker. Ufanga at safety. Man, listen, man for man. To be honest with you, plus they got the best offensive lineman, Trent Williams. Man for man, I think they got a better team than the Dallas Cowboys. To be honest with you, I'll take Purdy over Dak Prescott. To be honest with you, I'm just being honest with you. I'll take George Kittle over the tight end over in Dallas. Ferguson. I'll take him over Ferguson. I'll take Debo over CD Lamb. Straight up. I'll take Fred Warner over, good as Michael Parsons is. I know he's gonna get better, but right now, I'm gonna take Fred Warner right now. I'm telling you. And they ain't got nobody on their defensive line they can mess with. They can mess with Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa, a defensive player of the year for the NFL. He a beast. He a savage. Him and his brother, both some savages on the defensive line. I like him. Probably the only person I like more than him is probably TJ Watt. That dude a wreck shot for real every time he out there on that line. But Shanahan, I take him over Mike McCarthy calling the plays, man. We already seen with Dak, how Dak do when the pressure on him, man. I think Dak only won two playoff games in his whole career. If I ain't mistaken, 2 playoffs. I don't remember more than that. I think it is 2 playoff games, and one of them they got last year over Tampa and Tom Brady while they was doing horrible. But speaking of Tampa, man, Tampa just now came out there in New Orleans and beat the Saints, man. They beat the Saints. The Saints are struggling mightily right now. Derek Carr, I don't know. Like I said, from week 1, he's been struggling anyway with Tennessee Titans. I expected that out the gate. The play calling has been it's been pathetic, to be honest with you. Kamara came back last week. He had a lot to say about the play calling. He had a lot to say about the team need to start running what the players are comfortable with the guys they feel like they're going to be successful doing. That's what Sean Payton had an edge at on this as far as being a coach with the Saints, calling the offensive plays. Pete Carmichael, he's not getting the job done. Dennis Allen, he an excellent defensive coordinator. But when the offense keep going off the field and keep putting the defense back out there, they're going to end up breaking, man. And I really like the offense. I can't think of this dude's name. I'm going to have his name for y'all next time. The offensive coordinator for the Bucs. I watched what he was doing with Baker Mayfield, and I couldn't believe Baker Mayfield was the one to go out there and play and beat the Saints in home, in the Superdome. Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans even went out the game. But that play caller for the Bucs, he is doing his thing. Plus, we already know the Bucs defense is very stout. They was on top of the Saints. They knew they smelled blood with the Saints, man. They knew the offense wasn't moving. And when the offense not moving and grooving, the defense gonna have to keep going out there and try to make stops all day long. And they're just not sustainable, man, to be honest with you. We need Derek Carr to get out there and move the ball, get the ball down the field. You got Shaheed Rahid, you got Mike Thomas, who can really be a number 3, to be honest with you. Taysom Hill, Swiss Army knife. He can play everything, tight end, running back, receiver. And your number 1 receiver, Chris Olave. You got to take advantage and use these dudes, man. We got too many weapons on the Saints team and paying Derek Carr, I think, over $120 million, man. We could have just kept Andy Dalton. We could have kept Andy Dalton, man. Andy Dalton is a good, decent dude. To me, Andy Dalton was doing more than what I see Derek Carr doing right now. And that's just being honest with you. I want to get this dude a chance. I had a positive outlook with him coming into the season, but he's going to have to do more. He's going to have to start moving the ball down the field at some point. The defense is going to get frustrated. The fans are already frustrated. The players frustrated on the offensive side of the ball. Got to get it done. The Saints playing the Patriots this week in New England. Both teams struggling. Mac Jones, he's struggling too. I don't know what to say about this game. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really have no really deep analysis on it. Besides, both quarterbacks struggling and the defenses are both decent. And Bill Belichick, he's struggling right now without Tom Brady. And we just going to have to see what's going on with this defense. I feel like the Saints defense is going to have a good day. I feel like the Saints defense is going to have a good day versus Mac Jones. To be honest, they could have put Jameis Winston back there on Sunday against the Bucs. I feel like he would have did a good job, a better job than what Derek Carr did, man. The Saints the week before that, the Saints gave up a big lead, a 17-0 to Green Bay Packers, which was crazy. I hated to see that, but we got to see some improvement this week. I'm going to be watching closely, see what they do, and I'll get back with y'all in the next one.